things that strikes me about the von Neumann biography is the chapter about the birth of the computer and the ENIAC, and how actually the whole computer science as we know it today, this idea of having electronic machines, was born out of mathematics. So it was mathematicians like von Neumann and Gödel and Turing who actually built the foundations for what we call computer science today. And let me elaborate a little bit what that means in particular. In particular, for example, Turing's halting problem, or generally the problems that are associated with logic and self-reference and paradoxes. All of these topics were discussed in the context of creating electronic machines. And it reminds me of today, while we're creating artificial intelligence, we're also understanding the limits and the paradoxes that come with intelligence. For example, the Goedel inconsistency theorem can be used even in intelligence. Can an intelligence create an intelligence that is more intelligence than its own intelligence? These are philosophical questions that haven't been answered yet properly. So again, going back to the beginnings of the electronic machine with the ENIAC and von Neumann's biography, which illustrates all of these really interesting parts of that story, make me think that we should take mathematics more seriously. We should take logic and thinking, and particularly some of the inconsistencies and so-called flaws, little flaws, sometimes marginal things that aren't as prevalent maybe in the beginning, but then could grow into an avalanche. For example, the halting problem, or the inconsistency there, that you can't really create a program that for sure will halt, because you can create a program that loops whenever it halts, and therefore a program that halts loops, and you can do the opposite. A program that loops, and when it a program that loops, and whenever it loops, it halts. So something that loops will halt, but of course the looping is infinite, so you can't really halt it. So in other words, what Turing showed with the halting problem is an internal inconsistency with our own logic, which is kind of a cousin of the Gödel inconsistency theorem, which says that you cannot actually prove mathematics from within. There are statements that could be true, but they cannot be provable. So with all of that, we're still facing similar problems today. We haven't really solved them. And now we're facing new problems, such as, for example, the question of whether we can deterministically create intelligence. So intelligence itself is an open-ended thing. And, let's say, borrowing from Richard Sutton's work, we're actually working on open-ended intelligence that is exploring nature through experience, so exploring knowledge that we're not even familiar with. So that particular task cannot be deterministic in principle, because we don't even know what exactly it's going to discover. So in that sense, we can probably create an intelligence that is more intelligence than us, but can we control it? And if we want to control it, can we then still have an intelligence more intelligent than us? So those are interesting questions. I don't want to dwell on them right now. I just wanted to say a few things about the von Neumann biography that I'm reading right now, which is very, very interesting, and the birth of the computer, and how mathematics and its fundamental approaches towards some of the problems like logic and consistency and truth, that they're still with us, and that we might be able to progress as a species, particularly in the realm of technology, without solving them. But it's just very important to keep that in mind. I think mathematics as a field is still paramount, actually, in the development of computer science and AI. Thank you.